The best build for the best counter unit in the honkai star rail, guys. Yunli. No, we're not talking about Clara today. Clara is decent, but not as good as Yunli is. She is still constantly tracking at the top of the tier list, and that is for a reason, guys. She is still that bitch. She can still hit massive amounts of damage, and she can still be amazing for your account. With all the new relics we've gotten added into the game, she has better and better options that she can actually use now. So let's go ahead and talk about what her absolute best build is. Because if you're watching this video, you probably didn't pick up Tribi, or maybe you did, and then you decided to pick up Yunli as well, and now you want to know how to build her. So let's go ahead and quickly go over what she actually does, then we'll hop into the build after that. So let's go ahead and start off first where she gets the majority of her damage, and that is going to be just her counterattacks in general, guys. So Yunli's talent is going to be allowing her to automatically counterattack an enemy when she's hit. She'll be dealing damage to one main enemy and also adjacent enemies as well. This also will help her fuel her ultimate move, because the ultimate move is something you can use to enhance that follow-up attack even more, or that counterattack even more, guys. So starting off with what her ultimate does, guys, is it puts her in a different parry state. And her ultimate move is very similar to how Clara's ultimate move works, guys. But instead of just increasing their own aggro value, they'll be taunting every single enemy on the field, forcing these enemies to hit Miss Yunli here. And you want her to be hitting the enemies off this move here, and you want to make sure you're using this ultimate move when the enemy is coming up for a lot of attacks. So if that means saving the ultimate a little bit, that's going to be the best case scenario, because you want this up when enemies are attacking very frequently, because this is how you get the most damage out. Because she has two different types of a counter, guys. First counter, the weakest one, is going to be slash. This is if you don't get anyone hitting you. This is why it's very important to activate this while enemies are actively ready to attack you. The second one, and the most damaging one, is going to be Cole. And what Cole is going to be doing is basically allowing you to hit one main target. This also hits adjacent targets, and then additionally deals 6 instances of damage on random enemies. So this is kind of like how Argenti's ultimate works, where it goes ult and then 1 2 3 4 5 6, however much it does there, or how Jin Yuan's lightning lord works. When you get it stacks up, that's how many times he hits the enemy, and that is the one you want to be proccing off the most of. And you might be asking, YouTube, but what if I'm going to be overcapped in energy? The good thing about Yunli, guys, is she has a 2-charge system. This means you can get 2 of her ults up, kind of like Fei Xiao in a way, without having to use the other one, right? So this means if you're getting attacked, right, say you're waiting for that instance where all the enemies are about to attack you, but you're already capped out, you want to use the ultimate, just save it. Just save it. Like, you can literally just save it. Now, if you're capped on 2, you probably want to use it, but just save the ultimate move here, guys, because what you can do is get attacked by a couple enemies, bam, bam, 2 calls going in, and then activate it again, and then hit 2 more calls on enemies if there are that many enemies attacking. That is the basic way that you play her, right, guys? She is a counter unit. She is very similar to Clara, but she is like the way enhanced version of Clara, and she does absolutely insane amounts of damage, and she can honestly be used in a lot of scenarios just as a sustainer by herself on a team. So this also makes her very good there too. This is going to be very good for any type of player, right? Clara is good for a lot of these early game players. She's going to be really good for early game players as well. And honestly, I can see her value increasing as time goes on, because she can even play with the likes of Yukong, especially if you time Yukong's buff up properly. You can use it with her. You can use it with Tribi as well. Like, you can use her with so many different things. Considering she's already increasing her own attack and her own crit damage, this is going to be playing very well with Tribi's buff she provides as well. So this would be really good with pairing with Tribi if you actually did pull for Tribi. And then one more thing I want to touch on here, guys, her skill move. The skill move can be really good, especially when paired up with someone like a Sunday, because she gets more action advance, which she gives herself healing with this. So if you're action advancing her to the front, using her skill, you're giving her energy, and you'll also be healing her back up as well. So she works as like a self-sustain in a way. But that's the most basic breakdown I can give you of Yunli's kit, guys. It's literally wait for ult until enemies are coming up to attack. You ult, and then you destroy the enemies. That's the easiest way I can describe it. So now, let's go ahead and talk about her best in slot teams, because as you heard me mention there, I mentioned Tribi there. She can not only be used with this Tribi, she can be used with Robin as well. Robin's a very good AoE buffer. She does follow-up attacks, which will help Robin get her energy back up as well. It'll also action advance everyone back to the front as well. Like, she just works super well with Robin. You're getting additional crit damage buff, everything like that. Sunday is also a very good partner to run with her, because with him, you're getting SP neutrality. You're also advancing her back to the front, so she gets some more actions. You can use her skill and stuff like that. It's also going to be providing her with really good buffs, and on top of this, guys, you're giving her energy back as well. Same thing can be said for Ting Yun, guys. You can literally just pop her ultimate move off, give her some energy, and that's good to go. As far as the support role goes here, you can literally just run her with like a wah-wah on the team, and if you're using wah-wah on the team, you can actually give her up to 48 energy, just because her max energy is technically higher than what one ult would cost. If that's the easiest way I can describe it. It's like Argenti, how he has a 90 ultimate and a 180 ultimate, works in the same way. As far as some other teams you can run her in, if you didn't want to run her hyper carry, you could run her in a dual DPS team. Fei Xiao could work here. You could run her on a team with like Topaz. You could run her in a team probably with Treeby and another DPS as well. Maybe like Caterize. You could probably run her on a team with Jade as well. She has a pretty decent amount of options you can actually run with her on teams, but Hyper Carry is going to be her best scenario right now. I do believe that she'll get some pretty good main DPS support because her damage is very backloaded because you are really relying on the enemy hitting you, so you can activate her follow-up attack on the enemy. That's like the main flaw with her, is literally you kind of want upfront damage, and that's kind of why you would want to run Sunday or an action advance from the team to give her additional actions so she's able to act more frequently, and that's what makes her better for game modes like Pure Fiction and even Apocalyptic Shadow. When there's multiple enemies, she gets multiple attacks, which overall causes for more damage overall that she's going to do for you. That's all I want to mention on teams now, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about her best in slot light cone. Obviously, her best in slot light cone, guys, is going to be her signature light cone, Dance at Sunset, because this will be increasing her aggro rate. On top of this, it'll be increasing her crit damage by even more, and also increasing her own follow-up damage. Alternatively to this, guys, you could run the Clara signature light cone. This is a very good option to run on her as well, because like I said, she works very similarly to how Clara works. You could also run the Blade light cone as well because she's taking damage, so this light cone could work here too. And as far as a free-to-play option, on the Fall, the Aeon is going to be a super strong option for her, because first of all, this will be increasing her attack, and you're practically going to get this up within the first cycle of just about any battle, depending on how many enemies are on the field, because if she has increased aggro rate, she's getting hit more. If she's getting hit more, she's doing more counters. If she's doing more counters, she's getting this attack buff up even more. And on top of this, guys, when you're doing all these counter attacks, you're obviously going to be breaking the enemy as well, so you're getting very good access to this damage increase from the light cone as well. But now, the moment you've been waiting for, the Relics, gamers! Because we've gotten so many more added into the game since her release, you have a lot of different options you can actually run now on her. But wait, stop right there! Come here real quick. Subscribe to the channel now. I swear to God, if you don't, so I gotta talk into this mic. I swear to God, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 10K by the end of the year. Guys, please subscribe. We really need the subscribers. I'm fiending. Look how bad I'm sweating. I'm sweating right now recording this fucking video, guys. I'm sweating for you. So hit that subscribe button now. I appreciate it. Back you go. So her best in slot 4-piece, guys, is still going to be the Win Valorous set. Now, what the Win Valorous set's going to be doing, guys, is that a 2-piece is going to be increasing her attack, but at a 4-piece is increasing her crit rate, which is also crucial because she gives herself a lot of crit damage. But on top of this, guys, whenever she uses a follow-up attack, it'll be increasing her ultimate damage by 36%. And the great thing about her ultimate move, guys, those follow-up attacks count as ultimate attacks, so you are getting this buff for them. This does end up being more damaging than the 4-piece follow-up set that's currently in the game right now. That is still a really good set to run. I would say the third best in slot set. It gives you increased follow-up damage at 20%, but the big problem with it is that it's very hard to get the stacks up, because if you're only hitting blast targets, you're only getting 3 stacks of the attack buff, so that's pretty down bad. But with 3.0, we got a new set added into the game. Well, actually 2, but the only one will really apply here. Now, this set does not do as much damage as the Wind Soaring set, but you can actually use this set pretty effectively on her, and that's going to be the new Poet Morning Collapse set. Now, the 2-piece doesn't matter. It's increasing quantum damage. She does not take any use of this, but the big thing here, guys, is she is a character that doesn't take use of speed. You're mainly using her on teams with action advance anyways. The main thing here is actually decreasing her speed, which is going to be good in this scenario because it'll be giving her a huge crit rate increase. Like I said, she gives herself a lot of crit damage already, so getting a lot more free crit rate with her actually allows you to build into more crit damage, which will then lead to more overall damage, especially if you're using on our team with Tribby, right? You're getting those additional buffs there from her, and maybe you're using our team with Robin as well, or maybe you're restoring on a hyper carry team, right? You're gonna have access to a lot more buffs from this because she's getting up to a 32% increase to her crit rate, which is absolutely massive considering she's a character that doesn't need speed, and she's not a quantum damage character, but she needs to be slow, so this is an absolutely massive buff for her crit rate. If you can run her on a team with an action advancer, and maybe you just didn't get a good Wind Soaring set, this is a very good set for you guys. I'm not gonna lie, this is a super good set all around. The crit rate gains from this are absolutely massive. There's not many requirements to activate it, and honestly and overall, guys, I do think it'll just make her overall build easier. So let's go ahead and hop into those planner sets now. Her best in slot of 4-piece planner set, guys, is probably gonna be Duran, guys. Now, the reason I say Duran here, guys, is because Duran really depends on how many enemies are there, how many enemies are hitting you, because Duran requires ramp up, and if she's not getting hit, she's not doing follow-up attacks, therefore she's not ramping up this planner set's ability, right? Because because every time she does a follow-up attack, you get 1 stack of merit. At 5 stacks of merit, you're getting a 25% increase to your follow-up attacks and a 25% increase to your crit damage as well. So it really depends on the battle you're in, but I do think this is her best in slot set. But a great alternative here, guys, is going to be Inert Salsado. Inert Salsado is also a very, very good set you can run on her, because Inert Salsado is giving you free 8% crit rate, and on top of this, you're getting free damage for follow-ups as well. So there's no build up here at all. You just immediately get the buffs and you just start ripping it. That's all I have to mention now in terms of set. Let's go ahead and now talk about her stats, her recommended stats you want to reach. Starting off with the main stats first, guys. On the boots, you're going to be wanting to run attack percentage. She doesn't need any speed, just run attack percentage here. On the body is going to be crit rate or crit damage, crit rate preferred. On the rope is going to be attack or energy regen, and then on the sphere is going to be physical damage or attack percentage. Now on the rope, I probably would prefer energy regen, just because you want to be activating her ult as many times as possible. She's getting hit, but it really just depends on how many times you're actually getting hit, because if she's in a fight where you're not getting hit much, then energy regen's not going to do much for you. But if she's getting hit a lot, energy regen's going to do a lot for you, and you can actually get her ultimate up that much more often. It really just depends on how many enemies on the field and how many enemies are hitting her. So with that being said, let's now go ahead and talk about her sub and recommended stats. You're going to be wanting to run crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage. Like I said, speed does not matter here. You want as little speed as possible. Really don't run anything else. Her base speed is 94. If you have some speed stats here and there, that's okay, that's fine. But just as low speed as possible, don't aim for it. 90 to 100% on the crit rate, guys. You want to give her as much crit rate threshold as humanly possible. And as far as the crit damage, 100% here will be fine as well. She basically gives herself 100% crit damage whenever she's in her ultimate move and you're using follow-up attack. So I mean, you'll basically be at a 1-to-2 ratio anyway, so that's why I recommend this here. Overall, guys, that's all that I have to mention today on Miss Yunli. She is a bad bitch. You should build her if you have her. I don't know why you're watching this video and you don't plan on building her, but Yunli is going to be really, really good, guys. I think she is going to be great for your account, and honestly, tell me how you think of her so far. Have you used her already? Or maybe you think she's absolute bullshit ass and you're watching this video here. But overall, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I would really, really appreciate that, guys. And yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one later. Bye-bye.